how to get the data from your starting location and ending location, and then find the route, and then you think of adding more value than you are saying whether the traffic is there's a jam or not and all that, right? So some of those issues are there, right? So that is the first thing. Google Map definitely adds value. See, when I came to Bangalore for the first time, right? Bangalore is a big city in some sense, right? So there was only one A to Z guide for Bangalore. It will tell you which route to go. Otherwise, you have to just keep asking people which way to go, and all. People are obviously very helpful. When you are driving, they will tell go this way, go that way, but it is still it becomes a bit too confusing, right? Whereas when you had the map, it kind of democratizes. Means even if you're not good at directions and all that, you use once you learn how to, use the Google Map, so you are able to do it. So the question is, does the application have something which is simple to use and easy to navigate? So it looks like it has something simple to use and navigate. See, earlier it was all some foreign voice. Right now they have an Indian voice, and slowly they're telling Kannada also, and you can navigate also. Once you start using 2 3 days, you are able to figure out how to use it. And third question is, does the user actually enjoy using the site or application? Now, does the user actually enjoy using site or application? Like now, for an application like Google Map, it is based on utility, right? So people will use it only when they need it. So a question of enjoyment does not arise. But then, if you are creating an application which has no specific utility, in the sense that it is based on need based, it is not a need, but it is a want, right? You want to look at one friend's profile or an update or something, right? You want to see her pictures or what's happening and all that. It is not a need. Even if you are not able to see that person, your life, nothing changes. But that is something you want to do. So now for such applications, if we do it in such a way that users really enjoy, right? So what does it mean? They actually enjoy using the site or the application. Like for example, Instagram, right? Instagram, people, it will allow you to put filters and make you look good or something like that, right? And it will keep on feeding some reels and all that, right? So people get hooked onto Instagram, right? They get hooked onto WhatsApp, Instagram, because people, when they begin the beginning, they start enjoying. So the user experience is good. When a competing application is there, like for Twitter, Coup was there. If the user experience is not good, then the second application does not get traction. Only when the user experience is good, it gets traction, and they have to keep on refining it. Okay, that's what is the user experience. Okay, so what is user experience? Is how people feel when they use a product or service. Product will be an website or an application of some form. Every instance of human object interaction has an associated user experience, but in general, UX practitioners are interested in the relations between the human user and computers, such as websites and applications. Right. So what is they are interested? What is the experience of a human being and the computer? Now, what's a UX designer? A UX designer is someone who investigates and analyzes how users feel about the products he or she offers them. Right? A UX designer is someone who investigates and analyzes how users feel about the products he or she offers them. Right? UX designers then apply this knowledge. UX designers then apply this knowledge to product development in order to ensure that the user has the best possible experience with the product. Right? So they analyze, right? So basically, what happens? You do give some application, right? Now, for example, a net banking application is there, or a customer call center. It's also application where you call using phone, right? Now, many banks, they don't care. Once they are, uh, deployed, they don't care what is user's experience. For example, and it is not an easy question. For example, a user will dial a banking services customer care application, and it will ask him to dial 16 numbers, right? And by the time he enters account number, there may be a mistake and all that, right? Now, the user experience is little not a simple question. Obviously, this user experience is bad. But now some banks, what they do, they ask you to enter only the last four digits, right? Now the problem is when you make the user experience very easy, then you may compromise security or privacy. Now, for example, Google Pay and so many others are there, right? When a application is very easy to use and user experience is very smooth, right? It creates issues in terms of privacy and security. For example, in some foreign country, a child learned how to order over e-commerce and ended up running a bill of 20 lakh, I mean, $20,000, $30,000. It was just ordering for fun because the mother, was not careful. But who is to blame? Also, the user experience designer. Okay, they made the user experience easy, but they didn't put enough safeguards, right? Safeguards were not put, and then it affected the user. So you are also looking at the holistic well-being of the user, right? It is not just about giving user a smooth and nice experience. Because using any IT application is also fraught with risk, and also doing anything extreme is not good. You have an application which is so addictive that children will get addicted for screens for too long, then it affects them also, right? So that there are all sorts of issues, right? But when you are looking at it, in a somewhat simple way, being agnostic about the consequences, it is about how can you make the user experience pleasant and so that they enjoy, right? So, but as you finally, it matters. What matters is the success of your application and well-being of your user also. So you have to think at a higher level also. So all this comes to user experience. Like already there are people who are complaining that you made it so easy to spend money using this all these Google Pay apps. People are losing track of their expenses, they're spending more and all that. So both sides, right? So nothing should become too easy to use, nothing should become too hard to use. So it is a matter of balance. So why does UX matter? So basically, any functionality becomes a commodity. For example, you look at something like a Twitter. What is there in a Twitter, or now we call it as X, or a Facebook, or a WhatsApp? You should be able to, you should have a feature so that you post a message and somebody else will see a message, right? Then slowly there will be some standard APIs to do all this. It may be, posting a video, sharing and all that. So generally technical knowledge, right, becomes available to everybody. So now, how do you compete? Okay, it becomes a matter of two things, right? One is what's your revenue model, it will help you survive. But then what is the revenue model, right? See, a lot of the applications nowadays are not need based, they are want based. If there is an application which is need based, for example, paying property tax, right? Or registering for VTU. Any need-based application, there's an inherent revenue model, right? When you are paying fees, right, the VTU will can allot some amount of their budget for this IT because they are getting the money and they are saving on people, right? Similarly, BBMP for property tax application or a passport application, they have a inherent revenue model for need-based application. But for want-based application, right now, there is a WhatsApp or a Twitter or a Google search and all that, right? The thing is, there is no specific revenue model, right? Most of these people will rely on advertising revenue, right? Of course, now it is probably possible to design. India can take a lead there. They want to search something in Google, right? I will tell that or a Gemini, right? Okay, and I will tell that for to answer your question, I will charge you 1 rupee. Okay. Now, how many of you are willing to pay 1 rupee, and under what circumstances? Okay. So, can you raise your hand and answer? I'll pause for 2 minutes. I'll pause for 2 minutes. I want you to raise. I want you to raise your hand and answer. If you don't raise, I will allot. So you are putting a query and you want to get answer, maybe Google search or Gemini or somebody, and they are saying you pay me 1 rupee, only then I'll answer. How many of you will be willing to pay? And under what circumstances? Nandita, can you answer? Nandita?
Yes, sir. No, sir, I wouldn't pay if it is only a critical information that I want to retrieve at that moment. I may think to pay a rupee and retrieve an information, or else I would use other ways or other source to
Okay.
retrieve my information.
What about Vishwas? Vishwas, will you pay? Reena?
No, sir, I would not pay.
Joshikan?
Yes, sir. I would not pay if it's necessary information or which is more important. Or maybe at that time, sir.
Anybody who will say that they don't mind paying? Anybody here? Anybody wants to say they don't mind paying a rupee to get the information? Ashwini or Praveen?
No, sir, I'll not pay. If it's in an emergency situation, then only I'll pay.
No, this is not emergency. Dania?
Yes, sir, I will pay, but only if they provide the subscription for 1 year.
Okay. How much will you be paying?
Sir, 1 rupee, sir, for 1 year.
Yeah, what do you think are the advantages of applications which will charge you? And what do you think are the disadvantages of applications which do not charge you?
Sir, advantages like I can search anything, sir. I can download.
Okay. What are the disadvantages of applications which charge you, which do not charge you, which are free? Anybody think?
Sir, maybe there is no like download option, or maybe not get that information, sir.
Okay. Now I have another question. Why are all these platforms, no? Why do they, give free services to you? Why will they give? No, you know, right? Nobody will give anything free, right? Why will they? Why are they giving? Anybody can think of?
To get the feedback from the users, like when they use the application, users may give feedback on that application. So just to get the feedback of the application.
So no, like for example, there is Google, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and all that, right? They're not paying to use them. So why are they giving free services?
When people use the free versions, they understand how useful the platform is. So this helped company reach a larger audience.
After that, what happens?
They'll get large revenue out of it.
Well, how do they get the large revenue? Yeah, that is one advertising. Okay, so now at one level, their revenue model is, there could be advertising, right? But from your viewpoint, what is it that you are losing when you are using such platforms? Yeah, your privacy, your security, right? When you are using an application, right? There are always cases where your data may get sold to somebody, right? There is if you are using an application which has inherent revenue model, like a BBMP property tax application or a VTU application, under no circumstances your data may be sold or reused by somebody else, or they may not. I mean, keep. They may not violate your privacy, right? Whereas in this case, whichever is free, right? There is a possibility that they may violate the privacy because you cannot ask them, right? You cannot ask them to say that what is it? Don't share my data. I mean, there will be some what is it? Assurances and all that. But beyond that, you have no hold, right? Whereas if something is a paid application, right, then if some people don't use it, right, then that paid application will collapse. The number of people who are using become less. It definitely collapses, and they will be more willing to those customers. Otherwise, free is, there are a large number of free customers. Instead of one set of customers, another set comes. So the free model is a little dicey model, right? Your privacy, security, and all could get compromised, and there may not be innovation, right? In the sense that it will block the innovation to small players. See, for example, to do a application like WhatsApp or a Google search engine, it may cost $1 million, right? If it costs $1 million, that much revenue they have to get it from advertising means they have to have still more set of users, right? Whereas a small application, right, where you are like our Danya said, you are paying 100 rupees, say every year or something, 200 rupees every year. It doesn't require too many, users to break even, right? And it may meet the needs of a smaller community. So all the small players get weeded out, right? So you end up with something called rule of three, right? You have only Amazon and then Flipkart and maybe one more. Your Telegram or Signal or WhatsApp, right? Typically, some three entrenched players will be there. All the small players will get weeded out. So then the further innovation, customization, and localization does not become possible because anybody coming up with a new application, they have to fight these people. So these are some of the issues, right? And you have to be really, really imaginative to compete with these people and come up with your own application. But it is not impossible, but it is something which to think of, right? Okay, when I want, so what is the point I made? When the user experience is too easy, then nice, then it can become addictive. And if it is too free, then again, then it may block the innovation for future players, right? And some of these applications also will affect our culture, right? So somebody uses, well, WhatsApp will block you, they will hide the read receipts, right? And they will, Facebook, people will ghost each other, right? All these are not part of Indian culture. And then, in Nepal, right, the social applications, government taught for 2 days, then, using that some foreign governments, instigated a lot of youth and they did horrible things, right? Killed people and all that, right? So now all these issues are there because of free applications and they can violate national security, right? If there is a Chinese TikTok application, right, and India blocked it because it was sharing all your data, right? So this is the other aspect of the application where user experience may be good, but they are dangerous to you, right? So they have very advanced feature. You can do some shorts, you can do some reels and all that. They've invested a lot and they are charging you nothing, but somewhere they're making money, right? So that is something I want you to be caution about, right? So if the user experience is good, right, it increases the chances of a project success, okay? um, because that is something which people relate to it. It can excite the people, like for example an iPhone, right? iPhone is having something similar. Sometimes it's a little bit harder, but when people see it itself, they feel good about it, they feel positive about it, right? So things like that are part of the user experience, right? So it is not just functionality. Many times, a lot of people will do only functionality. You do a web application, right? The interface will be very crude, right? So you may ask a question. There are lakhs and lakhs of IT engineers in India, but there are very, very few Indian products. Why? Can anybody answer this? Chinmay, can you answer this? Chinmay, you are there? Meghana, Sheila, Srinidhi, Saundarya.
So can you repeat that question?
There are lakhs and lakhs of IT engineers are in India, but there are very few products from India, products or web applications or mobile applications from India, which are successful. Can you tell why? Did you hear the question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What reasons will come to your mind? Okay, Surya, can you tell? Why Indian, why there are not, you're saying less encouragement? No, there is, I mean, it may be true, but it is too less, right? Numbers are too less. Why is it happening? Anybody?
Inadequate resource management, sir, and poor planning.
Then Sabrine, Taj Sabrine. Reena, can you answer? Reena,
Yes, sir.
what could be the reason? Why we don't have WhatsApp from India? Why we don't have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn? Why we don't have any of these from India?
The one is the mindset itself, where we have the fear of failure.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's not that easy to gain the trust in India.
Then any other?
It's not that easy to gain
Yeah.
easy
Say for
trust from
example,
anybody.
yeah. Any other reason?
Sir, lack of skilled people.
Lack of skilled people are there. No, many skilled programmers are there.
Miscommunication between clients and development teams.
Anybody else?
Lack of privacy, security and privacy.
Okay, anybody else?
Sir, instead of creating, we help to run its operations, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, these are many things, right? People, let me put it in a simple manner that people are people are good in logical thinking, right? And they are able to code and solve technical problems, right? But when it comes to user experience, it is about imagination, right? Doing a very nice, product, or you conceiving a new product. All this is about imagination. It is not solving a technical problem. You should think of a need and then project it nicely. Okay, thinking of a need is not such a big thing, no brainer, right? For example, we had something called NPTEL courses. Have you heard of this NPTEL courses? Have you heard of NPTEL courses, Triveni?
Yes.
Do you know when it started?
I guess 2009, sir.
2009. You're sure? Are you
By
sure?
previous courses, I could say that it is from 2009.
Okay, I'll try to put a question. When did NPTEL start? Start for the very first time. Who started it? Okay, here, here it says it is 2003. Okay, it says it is 2003, but it could be even earlier. Like I know that IIT Madras started this particular thing long back, right? So we'll accept it is 2003. But then it was not that well known, right? The way they did NPTEL courses was that they just recorded in the very early courses, right? They just recorded the classes of teachers, which are like 45 minutes and 1 hour, and they just shared, right? So even though the India was a pioneer in this, nobody else did it. But later in 2015 or something, MIT, they had a EDX platform. Then Stanford had the Coursera platform. Then Udemy. So many other platforms were there. Then there was something called Khan Academy, right? All this, they tried to teach some complex topics using YouTube or some digital channel. But the difference was the way they did was very different. Firstly, they thought of the user interface a lot more. the way, the way they were dressed. And then each, if you look at Coursera, each topic may be only 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Then the sound is clear, and they are assigning some teaching assistant to make sure that each and every PPT is fine, right? So the user experience of consuming a Khan Academy or a Coursera or a EDX was much superior compared to traditional NPTEL, because as far as our thinking goes, we did not think too much of user experience. We said we are giving value, and we are making our technical content available. Those interested will see. You can even see now in Doordarshan, some one channel will be there where somebody will talk about complex topics. It is somewhat monotonous, boring, and all that, right? So the user experience angle was thought much better, and it whole thing they advertised, right? They called these as MOOC, massively online courses. They took lakhs of registrations. They advertised, right? So basically, first thing what you should learn is that doing an app is only 10% of the effort, and promoting an app is, or any idea, is 90% of the effort. All the foreign countries, they know how to promote something, even if something doesn't work, too complex, very bad. Still, they know how to promote it. Things like blockchain is too complicated. So many things related to AI and all, even Google Map initially didn't work, but they promoted it and kept on promoting it, right? And then so till the point it is successful. So, but the key point what I'm trying to say is that they focus a lot on user experience. When a user accesses it, what is the experience he has? Okay, you can look at very classical NPTEL. It was very bad. After that, they have now caught up, and they are as good as the best, and their knowledge level is good, and so many other things. But it costs, and you have to allocate fund for user interface design and all that, right? So all these things, right? Because of the user experience, right? Whether it is designing a website or the overall thing, right? The ability to imagine, ability to think, this creativity and logical thinking should go together. Only then you have good user experience. Okay. Now, where all user experience is very important. One, when it's a complex application. Okay. Few years back, see, please note down some of the things for what I tell you. Why user experience is very important for a complex application. It is not just about one thing. What I told was that for projects which are want-based, user experience is more important. Otherwise, people will not use on. Now let's go back to need-based projects. In need-based projects, when the transaction is fairly simple, right? It's a one-off transaction where you just register for something or buy a movie ticket or something. User experience is a little less important. Whereas user experience becomes a killer when the project is very complex with huge workflow. For example, filing a income tax return. Filing a income tax return is very complex. Sometimes it takes 2 days or 3 days. Similarly, if you apply for a, some higher degree course with some university, again you have to fill multiple sections, right? Okay, let's stick to filing the income tax. Long back, how was it filing income tax? Was that you manually take a form, print it out, sign it, and submit to some income tax department. Then they automated it, where the way it was that you create a Excel. In the Excel, you fill all the details, macro-based Excel. Then Excel you convert to XML, upload the XML, and pay any dues. Even that was taking a few days. After that, the project went to Infosys, and they did a portal. But the user experience was so bad, so many errors, so many issues, right? So much confusion. Then for 2 years, the government had to postpone the date of filing because the user experience was very bad. Similarly, in US, they started some healthcare, which people started calling Obamacare and all that. Again, user experience was very bad. Now, in user experience, it is not just the look and feel, right? You also have to take care of performance issues. For example, you have a mega sale of Flipkart, right? You have to recognize that on the same day, thousands or lakhs of people will try to buy something. Then if everybody, when they access, if the application hangs, it's a very bad experience. So user experience is not just about look and feel. It is also about, managing the workflow, managing the number of customers, performance, security, privacy, all these things also come into play. Now, you may not be able to take care of performance, but you can say, you can have a policy saying that after 30 people are already logged in, you can write a message saying that this application is, facing already lot of logins are already happening. Can you try after 30 minutes? Right. Otherwise, what happens? The 30 people are already there, then few more people are there, so that server will get hit with hundreds of requests, right? So then it may end up with a denial of service attack. So you can think of in the user experience that a user tried to log in, right? So that's what I'm saying. When you say user experience, it's not just about look and feel. It is also about utility. The user tries to log in. You can say that between 8 to 10, there are too many these things. Can you try after 2 hours? Can you try later in the night? Things like that, right? The another thing which is becomes important is that there was a support, right? See, for example, you want raise a call. See, you recently my Bescom bill came high. Now I want to make a call to Bescom, right? And tell them that this is bill is high. Then if I try to do during my work day, right? Then what happens? I have to spare time, and I would like to, if possible, call during evening. But then what happens? Their office is also closed, right? Now, how to give 24/7 support? So when there is outsourcing, what happens is that people could, cover the support of an application around the call all 24 hours. During the daytime for US, their people look after it, and in their night time, Indian people from India during their daytime worked on it. Sometimes people here also work during the night time, but I'm just saying, ideally, during our daytime, if we cover some support calls, also it benefits them, right? So things like that. So you are imagining the user experience, saying that I want to get some service from a bank, for example. Bank people will say come between 10 to 3, right? The same time which I have for my working day. But you see Airtel is open till 8 p.m., right? They open at 11 and they are open till 8 p.m. So now they care more about users and user experience, right? So things like that. So user experience is not just the user interface. You are caring when I am available for my application is available, right? Or is it convenient for users? I think like that. Yeah. So it includes even that. So complexity is one important thing. Complex projects like tax filing, GST filing, right? Registering a company, ITR filing for company or any other application. So complex workflows require good user experience. That is number one. Second is startups. For startups, you really need to understand the user experience, whether a particular application will click or not. I'm trying to come up with a application where somebody gives some details, he should be able to come up with a family tree. Now, who will access it? How is the visualization? Is the visualization appealing? Right, so many other things. If the visualization is appealing, only then people like it. And there is a concept of something called a sticky application. See, an application is there. See, earlier there was a job search application which is called Naukri. So you will go to Naukri. See, some of the things you may be surprised. India was a pioneer. Maybe Naukri came before any website was there in abroad for job search. Naukri may be a pioneer. Then they had Monster and all that, right? Now what happens? They came up with something called LinkedIn. So in LinkedIn, you link with each other, then you post job advertisement. Now what happens? When LinkedIn was in the initial phase, you post job advertisements, and those who are looking for job will, see it, and that's it. Once they get a job, they are no longer looking for a job, then nobody will look at it. Now, what LinkedIn did, they expanded the scope from a job search platform. I think we are overshooting the time. I'll stop here. That to make it sticky, they allowed all kinds of posts. That means every day people are seeing. So that means maybe you are not looking for a job. You come across a job post, right? You will tell a friend. Maybe you are not looking for a job, but it is so attractive, you change your mind and look for it. So the platform's monetization increase. So that is the importance of having a sticky application. And for a sticky application, user experience should be good. They should make you feel good. So we'll stop here. Okay. So I'll just note down your attendance, right? So we have